Hi, I'm Jackie Gladney, and this is day 15 of the Moksha Yoga 30-Day Challenge. I've had quite a few students approach me recently who are experiencing some knee pain from old injuries or some knee sensitivity, and have asked me for different variations or modifications for a few poses in their practice. So I thought that I would share those with you today. I'd say first and foremost, as you're practicing, recognize sensation and notice the difference between pain and the difference between discomfort. So if you're experiencing discomfort, you're probably okay and you can breathe through it. If you're experiencing pain, definitely stop what you're doing and wave your teacher over it or ask for some help after class. The first posture that I was asked about was the runner's lunge. And so in runner's lunge, one foot is in front of the other, and you are coming forward, stretching out the front of your hip or your psoas. So here I'm stretching the front of my left. And the pain that the student was experiencing was on the knee that was in the front. And in the Moksha series, we bend and we come forward like this. And if you take a look at my right knee here, in my runner's lunge, it's easy to kind of relax my hips down and take my knee out of alignment. So you can see that my right knee is coming way in front of where my right ankle is. And so then all this pressure and all this weight here is being put on this knee. So first and foremost, press your foot down into the mat. Take your knee up over your ankle. So you can see now I not only have this one joint, but I have two joints here to put all of my weight on. So it's a sturdier base. And then focus on pressing down from your knee, down through your heel, and moving your hips. So right and left hip slightly forward and stretching here. The next posture that I was asked about was half pigeon pose. Half pigeon pose, your shin comes down to the mat and your hips lower down. So you can see that I am down on the ground here. So the weight of my pelvis, which is the heaviest part of me, and the weight of my entire torso really, is going straight through my hips and into the ground. And then my hips feel nice and secure, so they have somewhere to stretch from, a base to stretch from. But for most people, they're lifted here. Okay, so really all this weight then from their torso and from their hips, it has nowhere to sit except for what's attached to the ground, what's grounded, your knee and your ankle. So it's typical to experience some knee pain here. If it's just discomfort, you can take a block or a towel, or I have some pillows here, and take that up to your hip to give yourself something to sit on. Or you can also take a different variation that I'll show here. So lie down on your back. Two different variations of figure four pose. So the first one, I'm taking my left ankle over my right knee, I'm flexing my left foot, and then I'm lowering it all the way down to the ground. Press that foot down into the mat, and then press your knee away from you. So this is how I'm getting the opening on the side of my hip. The second variation of figure four pose is to take your figure four and then take your arms, loop them in between the four, and interlock fingers on your shin or interlock fingers on your hamstring. If you find that your head and shoulders are lifted high off of the mat, use a strap from your yoga class, or I just have a belt I'm here at home, and take that underneath your leg. Lower your head and shoulders, lower your hips to the mat, and then use your biceps to pull in. So you're giving yourself a sturdy base to stretch from. The next pose that I was asked about is child's pose. And so for child's pose, the extended variation, your knees are separated, big toes are together, forehead comes down to the mat, arms reach out in front of you. So what you should be experiencing in child's pose is a traction, so stretching in your spine, and then a little bit of opening in your hips. If it hurts your knees to be down on your knees, you can lower down onto your back and take a variation of Happy Baby. I enjoy the one where forearms come on hamstrings and then interlock fingers. And then I use my biceps to pull my knees up towards my underarms and then I stretch my sacrum towards the back of my mat. So I'm getting this traction in my spine and the opening and releasing in my hips. Feels nice. And then the next one that I was asked about is Sasangasana rabbit pose. And Sasangasana is one of the greatest back stretches and shoulder blade stretches. And you're usually on your knees and you tuck your chin into your chest and you round forward, bringing your forehead to the floor and then lifting your hips up. So the weight of my hips is going right down onto my knees. A lot of weight there. So experiencing knee tenderness or discomfort is normal, but if it's pain, you want to take a different variation. And some variations have you sit down. I'll show this one first. So this one, you bend your knees, take your shins out in front of you, left arm under your left leg, grab your right shin, right arm under the left leg, grab your left shin, and then just relax. So forehead comes in, knees bow together, relaxing everything except your hands that are holding onto your shins. So I'll show that turning sideways. So I'm getting the same stretch in my shoulder blades and in my spine as I was in rabbit, but I'm not sitting on my knees. And if that variation doesn't work for you, you can take variation of plow pose. So lie down on your back, take legs up the wall, press your hands into the mat, pull your belly in, send your legs up and over. Take your hands to your lower back, lower your feet down to the mat behind you. If your feet don't touch the mat, you can take keep your hands on your lower back. If they do, you can shimmy your shoulders underneath you and interlock your fingers, pressing down. Lengthen through the back of your neck. You could work on coming through plow, which is what I'm in now, or ear pinning pose. Taking knees to ears and reaching arms up, grabbing for ankles. So I'm getting that same stretch here. Lower down. So those are some variations that I gave students the past couple of days who were asking about alternatives to certain poses for knee pain. Hopefully those will help you with your practice. Thank you for the questions. Keep them coming. It's not too late to sponsor one of my practices. Go to crowdrise.com, search Sweat for Change Minneapolis, and you'll find me there. Have a great day. Namaste.